Right now in speedcubing, there are 3 really good 7x7s on the market, and today I'll be talking about which one I like the most and why. Firstly, I'm definitely not as good at 7x7 as I am at 3x3. Right now I average about 3 minutes 30 seconds on 7x7, so take my opinion for what you think it's worth. My favorite out of these 3 is the X-Man Spark M, which is $60. My second favorite is the Haze 7M, which is $60 as well, and my least favorite is the Alpha GTS M, which is $45. I am equally fast on these 2, I just prefer turning the Haze, and I am actually faster on the Spark. First, because this is a big cube, I will be talking about pops and lockups. Thank you to Speedcube Shop for sending me these cubes, and if you want to buy anything, links are in the description as well as a discount code. The Haze was my first 7x7 and I didn't know how to properly set it up, and something I noticed was this kind of corner cut right here that I tried to do by accident, which you shouldn't try to do. This piece right here would often move down and get caught with the rest of the layers where it shouldn't be. How to get around this on all of these cubes is to make the cube a lot tighter than you normally would, and if you try that, the cube actually does not really get slower. So I can still turn very fast on this even though it's quite tight. On the Alpha GTS M, I find that it's a lot more stable and does not have that problem quite as often, but it's still possible to get this piece to move down with the rest of it. One awesome thing about the Spark is it actually cannot do that. So if you try to pull down here, this piece actually will not be able to go down because the design is different and it is pushing against this piece right here. So as long as this piece is in the way, it will never go down, and this is an impossible lockup to happen. Instead, if you just realign everything a little bit, it'll just go down properly instead of getting completely stuck. Now for all 3, just remember that if you keep the cube tight, then lockups will be quite rare. And also do not try to intentionally corner cut because on big cubes you should not be doing that. Alright, let's take a look at the size. So the Haze is slightly larger than the Spark, and the Alpha GTS is slightly larger than the Haze. And just comparing the largest and the smallest now, that is actually quite a big difference. Doesn't look very big, maybe about 1 to 2 millimeters, but when you're holding a cube, it does make a very big difference. My hands are not the largest. I feel like people with larger hands would be more okay with these, but I feel like the sweet spot for my hands may even be smaller than the Spark, which is why the Spark works really well for me compared to the other 2. Now here I'll just do some turning on each of them, and you'll notice that on the Spark I actually turn quite smoothly and I'm very comfortable on this cube. And it has been this way since out of the box. All I did after taking it out of the box was pretty much just tighten it a little bit to avoid pops, and it's been very comfortable in my hands ever since. And here's my turning with the Haze. I feel like I often have to slow down a little bit, otherwise some of the other layers get slightly misaligned and I have to undo part of my turn. I do feel like the layers have slightly more friction between them compared to the Spark, and because of that, they tend to move together a little bit more often when I don't want them to. On the Alpha GTS, at least for my hands, it feels a lot clunkier to turn, and I feel like it's slower, so I have to apply a lot more force into every turn. So because it's larger and slower, even though I think the performance is very similar to the Haze, I feel like I can't turn all that accurately here and I have to slow myself down. Next, we'll briefly look at the inner layer turns. On the Spark, the layers feel very even in terms of how much force I have to apply, and since all the layers feel similar, it's a very nice feel doing centers. On the Haze, double layer turns feel a little slower than triple layer turns, and because of that, I feel like I have to switch how I turn very often. For the Alpha GTS, the amount of force I have to apply feels similar, but the corner cutting on the 3rd layer is actually not very good at all. The turns feel very separate from each other if I misalign any little bit at all, and because of that, I really don't like doing triple layer turns on this cube. So overall, I feel like the Spark is equal or better than the other cubes in pretty much every important aspect. It feels a little bit like turning a gigantic 3x3, but I have to be a little bit more accurate because there's a lot of layers. But the fact that I can turn this fast consistently without messing up, I think this makes this such a good cube. But the Alpha GTS is $45 instead of $60, so it is quite a bit cheaper, and if you care about that, then I think you should get the Alpha GTS because it is not a huge difference, especially if you're not that good at 7x7. So a 7x7 solve takes forever, and I won't be including the full solve in this video, but if you want to see the full solve, I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.